Hey there viewers, we're here at the Games Repository taking a look at the cards of Tarkir spoilers ready for the pre-release this weekend. I'm Thresh, and you all know, Brick. So we're going to be looking at it starting in colour order, following the collector's numbers, and I hope you enjoy it and find what we're going to be saying useful. So now to cut to the cards.
Okay guys, right, we are looking at green for this video. We're going to start with Alpine Grizzly, which is a 2 colourless 1 green for a 4/2 creature bear. Lovely green card. A 3 for a 4/2, fairly balanced. Yeah, good little aggro card for turn 3.
Yeah, not bad. Shame its toughness is so low, but like you say, balanced out by its high power. So next up we have Archer's Parapet, 1 colourless 1 green for a 0/5 wall. It's got Defender, pay 1 colourless 1 black, tap it, each opponent loses 1 life. This is one of the better walls we've seen in the set so far. 2 mana for a 0/5 is kind of strong, but it also has an ability built in that means that you can make your opponents lose life and you can activate it at instant speed.
Yeah, good little end of your turn, just do this.
Yeah.
Card.
Agreed.
Kind of like that, a 0/5 wall as well, because when you defend, you aren't tapping it.
Yeah.
Right, Awaken the Bear, which is a 2 colourless 1 green instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. So kind of a single shot overrun. We haven't seen overrun for a long time. I'm missing that card. But this lets your fatty go right over the top of something and deliver a lot of damage. Could be a game changer, if not a game winner.
Nice buff spell. So next up we have Become Immense, 5 colourless 1 green instant with Delve. Target creature gets +6/+6 to the end of turn. Again, another good buff spell. The Delve on it means that you can pay it for really efficient prices mid to late game. This could be incredibly strong, though it's going to sit as a bit of a dead card in your hand at the start of the game.
And also it doesn't get the trample.
Yes, that's true.
So, I don't know, it could be good at removing a creature with a chump blocker. I can't see it going over the top of something unless it's already got trample built in. So, yeah, interesting card. We'll see how it plays out. Next up, Dragon Scale Boon, which is a 3 colourless 1 green instant. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature and untap it. That is immense. That would be a really good game card for mid-combat kind of tactics before you declare your blockers.
Yep, and it's great with your Outlast because you can tap it down to activate its Outlast, cast this to untap it and put extra +1/+1 counters on it.
Pretty cool.
Nice interaction. Next up, Feed the Clan, 1 colourless 1 green instant, you gain 5 life. Ferocious, you gain 10 life instead if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. Nice healing spell. 2 mana for 5 life is already pretty good. If you've got the Ferocious activated 10 life, that's pretty great. Can really ruin Red's day.
And at instant speed as well.
Yeah.
Good card. Hardened Scales, which is 1 green enchantment. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be placed on a creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are placed on it instead. So basically what it means is if you play this on a card that's going to have Outlast, when you pay the Outlast ability, you get an additional +1 counter, but it only triggers the once for each +1 counter that goes on it. Yeah, cool card.
Yep, I like it. Great card. Helps make your Outlast more efficient. Very strong. Next up, Heir of the Wilds. 1 colourless 1 green for a 2/2 human warrior with Death Touch. And Ferocious. Whenever Heir of the Wilds attacks, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Heir of the Wild gets +1/+1 to the end of turn. So, for 2 mana, you can get a 3/3 with Death Touch as long as you've got something with 4 power or more. Good spell. To be honest, 2 mana for a 2/2 with Death Touch is already pretty damn efficient. Giving it that extra +1/+1 pushes it through the roof. This is a good card. I very much like it.
Yeah, then we've got Highland Game, which is a 1 colourless 1 green for a 2/1 elk. When it dies, you gain 2 life. So this is a better version of the elk that we saw earlier on in one of the other colours. Not a brilliant card. Could be a bit of a placeholder for your 2-drop. Also going to help you with your Delve because you can run it into something, maybe even take something out with the 2 attack. And then you've got a card you can delve with mid to late game.
Yeah.
So worth putting into a Delve deck. Other than that, I don't think you're going to get much use out of it.
I think it's quite good limited. Life gain strong. Next up, Hooded Hydra. X green for a 0/0 snake Hydra creature. Hooded Hydra entered the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When Hooded Hydra dies, put a 1/1 green snake creature token onto the battlefield for each +1/+1 counter on it. Morph, 3 colours green. As Hooded Hydra is turned face up, put 5 +1/+1 counters on it. This is a great creature. It's a perfect mana sink mid to late game, or if you've cobbled together some sort of mana ramp. Makes it even more efficient that when it dies, you make loads of little snakes to help cushion the blow of the creature dying. And its morph ability is saying you can just play it down early game, turn it face up, you get a 5/5 creature that if it dies you get 5 1/1 snakes. All around, very efficient creature, great in limited, probably quite strong in constructed.
Yeah, no, I do like this card. There isn't enough room on the text to actually explain what the morph does, and that's three colourless to play it face down as a 2/2. So you play that turn 3, and then if you can ramp into it, you can flip that baby over as a 5/5 for 5 mana, so that's really good. And when you do finally run it into something that kills it, you then get 5 1/1 snake creatures. That's just amazing. And if you could somehow add additional +1/+1 counters to it, pretty awesome card. Then we've got Hooting Mandrills, which is a 5 colourless, 1 red, 4/4 ape with Delve and Trample. So already 6 for a 4/4 with Trample. It's just a bit above expensive, so you probably wouldn't play it. But this Delve ability means that you could play it for 4 mana for a 4/4 with Trample quite happily with that 2 Delve. So I think that card's going to be really strong. 1, it shows off what Delve can really do. 2, it's a common. I would happily run 4 of these, a playset of these in a limited deck.
Nice. So next up we have Incremental Growth, a nice reprint from the Lorwyn block. 3 colourless green sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature, and 3 +1/+1 counters on the third creature. Again, great synergy with some of the Outlast guys. Allows you to buff 3 different creatures at the same time, and essentially you get 6 +1/+1 counters for 5 mana. Not a bad spell at all.
Sorcery speed, so not perfect,
Yeah.
but it is just an uncommon.
Very true.
Then we've got Kintree Warden, which is a 1 green 1/1 with 2 mana to regenerate and morph ability for 1. Yeah, okay, so that's a bit of a complicated card really. You're going to pay 3 colourless to get it down as a 2/2, then you can morph it for the 1 but then pay you 2 to regenerate it later. So I'd need to see this card in play, play with it a bit and see what happens to figure out whether it's a worthwhile card or not.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on him. Next up, Longshot Squad. 3 colours, 1 green for a 3/3 Hound Archer with Outlast for 1 colour, 1 green. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has reach. Pretty cool ability, like I say, it gives them all reach, which is quite useful. One of the weaker Outlast creatures, but still has its place.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking about these Outlast abilities that you get on addition on the cards with Hooded Hydra would make Hooded Hydra pretty immense. So next up we've got Meandering Tower Shell, which is 3 colourless green for a 5/9 turtle with Island Walk. Whenever it attacks, exile it, return it to the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking at the beginning of the declare attacker step on your next turn. So this is another difficult card. You're getting 5 mana for a 5/9, but it takes 2 turns to attack with it. But then it does take it out of play, so it can't be countered during the turn. But you can use it as a defender, so 5 mana for a 5/9 defender would be pretty cool. And you've got that Island Walk. Remember how many island people are going to be playing islands. This could be a pretty good card.
Yeah, could be strong and limited. Attacking once every other turn is interesting little mechanic. That has some synergy with stuff that affects when creatures come into the battlefield or leave the battlefield. Yeah, it's an interesting card. So next up we have another reprint, Naturalize. 1 colourless, 1 green, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Instant. Great spell. But targets both artifacts and enchantments. You can use it as a form of removal in standard at the minute, given the bestow creatures. Great as a sideboard card against people that like, well, artifacts or enchantments. It's a good card.
Staple card, good removal.
Yeah.
Next up, Pine Walker, which is 3 colourless green for a 5/5, but also has a morph ability for 4 colourless green, and whenever it or another creature you control is turned face up, untap that creature. So quite a handy card for basically giving your morph creatures vigilance.
Yeah.
Could be quite a cool card. I'd like to play that card and see how it runs in a deck.
Yeah, certainly interesting. So next up, Rattleclaw Mystic. 1 colourless, 1 green for a 2/1 human shaman creature with tap. Add 1 green, 1 blue, or 1 red to your mana pool. Morph cost of 2. When Rattleclaw Mystic is turned face up, add 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 red to your mana pool. Interesting creature, pretty good. You kind of get more than you invest into it. It's morph. It costs 2 colours to morph it face up, and then you add 3 mana of your chosen wedge's colours to your mana pool. Pretty efficient, but the guy then makes mana from then on, and he's a 2/1. He can be a more efficient attacker than Planor Elves or Bird of Paradise, etc.
Yeah, I really like this card. I think it's a pretty damn cool card. And for a 2 mana drop to tap for green, blue, or red is very strong. Then we've got Roar of Challenge, which is a 2 colourless, 1 green sorcery. All creatures able to block target creature this turn do so. And ferociousness, that creature gains indestructible until end of turn if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. That's a pretty amazing card. Makes you swing in. Yeah, that's just got so many kind of variations you can do on it, especially if you've got a creature with Death Touch that's ramped up and it makes it indestructible. You can spread that Death Touch around and wipe out your opponent's board.
Agreed. I like it. It's a great way to force extra damage through. Next up, Sagu Archer. 4 colours, 1 green for a 2/5 Naga Archer with reach, and more for 4 colours and 1 green. Again, nothing to write home about. 5 mana for a 2/5 with reach is not that great at the best of times. Its morph cost is the same as its normal mana cost, so you're probably going to be doing it as a slight surprise if your opponent thinks you can't block flying at all. Overall, not great.
No. Maybe if they'd given it Death Touch as well.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have balanced it out a little bit more. Right, next up we have the card that got a lot of people talking, the Bear Punch, Savage Punch, which is 1 colourless, 1 green, sorcery, target creature you control, fights target creature you don't control. But it's got the ferociousness where it gets, the creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn before it fights if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. So this is basically removal. In green, we've seen cards like this, we've talked about them before in other videos. Yeah,
it's a really, really good card, made all the better because of its amazing artwork. Next up, Scout the Borders. 2 colours, 1 green for a sorcery. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or land card from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. Pretty good, allows you to search for a creature or land whichever you need to play the rest of your hand, while also potentially fueling your delve triggers. Good card.
Yeah, delve fueler. I like it. Then we have See the Unwritten, which is 4 colourless, green for a mythic sorcery. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest into your graveyard. Ferociousness, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you may put 2 creature cards onto the battlefield instead of 1. Yeah, this is another delve fueler, I would say, but also you get possibly some very strong cards for 6 mana. You're going through 8 cards out of your deck. You're probably going to pull something pretty bombastic out of that.
Yeah, great spell. 6 mana to potentially get 2 creatures for free. Well, for 6 mana. Yeah, it's good. Next up we have Seek the Horizon, more reprint. 3 colourless, 1 green. Sorcery, search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. Thins your deck. 4 mana for 3 land is not bad. Sorcery speed, yeah, it's usually what land searching is. They go straight into your hand rather than onto the battlefield, which is a bit of a shame, but it does help, like I say, thin your deck so you can find more threats and less land.
And your mana fixing as well.
Yeah,
so if
perfect number for the wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point, well made.
Smoke Teller, which is a 1 colourless, 1 green for a 2/2, and you can pay 1 colourless and a blue, look at target face down creature. Quite a handy card, really. 2 mana for a 2/2, it's good. And then you've got this ability which doesn't even tap the creature down, which lets you have a look at their morph creatures and kind of have a bit of an idea of what they're going to be playing.
Just helps you play around them. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty good bear creature. Next up, Sultai Flayer. 3 colourless, 1 green for a 3/4 Naga Shaman. Whenever a creature you control with toughness 4 or greater dies, you gain 4 life. 4 mana for a 3/4 is okay, especially for a 3/4 that gains you 4 life when creatures on your side die. Pretty useful. I kind of like it. It's good if you're playing a ferocious type deck or a deck with a heavy mana curve and a heavy fatty amount.
Yeah. Next up, Trimmer Charger, which is 1 colourless, 1 green for a 3/1, so that's okay costings. It's also got a morph ability, which you can morph it for free by revealing a green card from your hand, so that kind of saves on the mana fixing a little bit. When it is turned face up, target creature gains trample until end of turn, so that could be a very handy card.
Yeah.
If you're playing a fatty that really needs to get over.
Yeah, it's a good little trick. So next up we have Trail of Mystery. 1 colourless, 1 green enchantment. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Whenever a permanent you control is turned face up, if it's a creature, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Pretty cool spell. Well, enchantment, 2 mana, sticks around, and it makes morph potentially viable. So you play a morph creature, you fix your mana base, very good considering we're playing with wedges, and it makes your creature that much bigger when it's turned face up.
And thins your deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just it. Good point.
I like this card. That's a very nice enchantment card. Then we got Tusk Colossodon, which is a 4 colourless green 6/5 beast. 6 mana for a 6/5. It's a little bit high costed for a green fatty, but it might see a little bit of play in limited for your bomb.
Yeah, it's a nice placeholder. So next up, Tuskguard Captain. 2 colours, 1 green for a 2/3 human warrior creature with Outlast for 1 green. Each creature you control the +1/+1 counter on it has trample. Very useful. If you don't get the flying, this allows you to force through some extra damage on your opponents if you keep managing to buff up your creatures. Again, good Outlast creature, synergizes well with the other ones.
Yeah, I think from what we see in the greens, it makes Outlast a very, very viable mechanic. Even without actually paying for the Outlast abilities, giving things +1/+1s, it's going to be a strong, strong mechanic. Then we've got Windstorm, which is X green. Windstorm deals X damage to each creature with flying. Green doesn't normally have a lot of flying creatures, but it has a lot of things to deal with flying, and this is just perfect for that. If you've got an opponent who's put out a flying offensive, this instant speed can deal enough to get rid of quite a few tokens.
Yeah, and we're pretty useful. Last but not least, our final green card, Woolly Loxodon. 5 colourless green for his 6/7 elephant warrior with morph for 5 colours, 1 green. Standard morph creature, no real abilities. Play it early game for the 3, turn it face up to block a creature, and then beat your opponent's face in with it. Very good placeholder bomb for green limited decks.
Yeah, Alright, well that's our green video, ladies and gentlemen. If you still want to see the rest of the colours, have a look at the playlist, and yeah, happy pre-release, and yeah, see you soon.